like what's landing for you all. Welcome to this short bite-sized training. We're going to talk about being full-time as a coach in 2025. It's a big conversation. So first of all, we've been doing these bite-sized trainings, and you can check out the playlist on our YouTube channel. It's called E-Training for Coaches, I think, and you can check out some of the other trainings that we've done. My goal in these short trainings is always about 20 minutes or so, and in this training, I'm going to break down full-time coach at a high level, but I'm also going to go a lot deeper in a webinar on Thursday, December 12th. You can go to coachseansmith.com/ this is off memory, 40K hyphen in 2025. That should get you to the opt-in page. And as of the recording, like live right now, you might actually get some not so correct information. So we apologize, but we're going to get you the email address. And if anything comes to you and the date's wrong or whatever's wrong, we'll fix it. But I promise you, it is on Thursday, December 12th, 12 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to dive all the way into how to make 40K. That's why it says 40K in the URL. How to make 40K or more, an additional 40K or more as a transformational life coach in 2025. So with this short training, I want to first give you a big concept, and then I want to give you probably 4 little bullets here. The first thing I want you to know is that being a full-time coach is 100% possible and nearly 100% improbable. It's 100% possible and nearly 100% improbable. And to me, there's tragedy in that. It's improbable because most people aren't going to do what is required to make it possible. And there's all kinds of reasons for that. That's not my point in this particular short bite-sized training. But we have a marketing world, we have a social media world, we have just conditioning in our society that does not make most people's efforts at success probable. And so we need to step out of that conditioning and determine and commit to increasing and improving our odds as much as possible. And so it is possible to make full-time money as a coach if you do the right things. And one of the most important things is that you have to stand out. You know, I think our society is a sea of sameness for the most part, because what works in the algorithms, it necessitates that we operate in this general sense, right? In order to succeed like them, we have to be like them so that we can do the things like them, so that we can make the money and sell the things and price it and title it and all that stuff like the algorithms like. And the algorithms don't create distinction. The algorithms want to create sameness so that the algorithms can win, right? So in a sea of sameness, you have to stand out. In a sea of sameness, be different. I say in a field of mice, be a giraffe. Or in a field of giraffes, be a mouse. Wherever you are, you have to stand out to get people's attention. And as I was thinking about this little training, these 3 little elements or ingredients hit me in a way they haven't hit me before. Be you, buy you, and build you. Be you, buy you, B-U-Y, you, purchase yourself. Buy yourself as the product, as the messenger, as the deliverer. You have to have certainty in yourself. Otherwise, you can't ever sell something you don't believe in. And then the third one is build you. All of it has to be around you. Because if it's not around you, then you become irrelevant. So let me give you these 4 components here of making full-time money as a coach. Number 1, you have to decide what full-time money means. For years, we've been surveying our community of coaches, and we asked what it is they want. What are their goals? And most people actually don't want the shiny titles that are on so many of the marketing programs out there. You know, they don't actually necessarily want the six figures or the $1 million or, you know, multiple six figures. What most people actually just want is to be a full-time coach. Now, for some people, full-time does mean six figures or seven figures, but for some people, it means $30,000 or less. Or some people, they don't even need to make a whole lot of money. They just want to do the work full-time and have their bills paid and do something they love doing. So number one, you have to decide what full-time means to you. Don't just follow what other people's definitions of full-time is or what other people's goals are, what other people's targets are. That's going to trap you into chasing other people's recipes. And the only way that other people's recipes can work for you is if you become other people. You have to become them in order for their recipe to work for you. So decide what full-time coach means to you. Number two, make part-time money first. It is insanely difficult to go from nothing to full-time in almost anything. It's insanely difficult. And I think in the coaching industry, in the personal development world, in our society's programming in general, across the board, around everything, we don't value progress. We just value outcome. So if we're at a 0 right now, we only value 10. We don't value going from 0 to 1. We don't celebrate it. We don't acknowledge it. It doesn't feel like success to us. So we're not successful until we just get to 10. But we all understand intellectually and rationally that you can't get to 10 without going through 1 through 9. So what if we actually valued going from 0 to 1? Because we know that if we go from 0 to 1, we'll be able to go from then 1 to 2 and then from 2 to 3. I know everybody understands this, but we don't value it. We don't value building foundationally. We value building fantasily. We value just getting to the fantasy right now. We value delusion. And because we value delusion, we fall for illusion. I want you, if you're serious about building full time, I want you to build foundationally part-time. Because what almost everybody's doing out there in the coaching world specifically is they're creating, following the leader. They're building full-time operations, full-time systems to make full-time income and hopefully full-time impact by getting full-time exposure and making full-time sales and full-time marketing and full-time social media efforts and full-time everything, but they have part-time nothing. Full-time everything sitting on top of part-time nothing will be disaster and misery for you. Please value building your dreams. Don't only value arriving at your dreams. Because if you don't value building your dreams, you will never arrive at your dreams. So this requires us to sober up. We're too drunk. We're drunk on dopamine. We're drunk on motivation. We're drunk on delusion. We're drunk on what society says we should do in order to feel good enough, in order to feel successful. We are drunk. We live so much of our lives in this state of emotional inebriation. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't at times get a little emotionally delusional and go after things that could be beyond what we thought was possible for ourselves. Yes, there's a healthy dose of delusion that is required for us to innovate, for us to improve our lives, for us to go outside of our comfort zones. There's a healthy dose of delusion, but it's a small dose. Please don't have it pumping in your veins. If you want to build something sustainable, you have to build it sober. You have to build it realistically. You have to have long-term commitment with short-term urgency. long-term commitment with short-term urgency. And then it's possible. Short-term commitment with long-term urgency makes it almost 100% improbable. Meaning, short-term commitment, I'm committed temporarily. As long as this works now, it has to work now. I got to make up for this with this next effort. I got to make up for all the past mistakes. I got to do everything now, immediately. Let me get there right now. Because I got to get way out there. That's the long-term urgency. I got to cast my line way out there. And I got to bring it into me right now. And if it doesn't work immediately, then I'll go spend my time, energy, and money on another program that's going to sell me on the delusional fantasy. Build foundationally and build sober, and it is possible for you to make full-time impact and full-time income eventually. I don't know when, and I would never promise you when. And if anybody ever promises you when, run, because they're lying. They're either lying to you or lying to yourself or themselves if they're telling you that they can predict your future. Please don't fall for that. And then it's possible. That's the piece. And then it's possible, but we got to build part-time foundation first. And then here's number 3. Then once the foundation is built, this is kind of a segue into number 3. Slow down so that you can go fast. Slow down so you can go fast. Part of slowing down is building that foundation. Part of slowing down is sobering up. Part of slowing down is saying, this is my target for me, not for you. For me, this is my target. And I'm going to reverse engineer what this looks like for me with the amount of time that I have, with the amount of kids that I have, with the amount of energy that I have, with the amount of work that I want to put into it, with the social media programs that I'm comfortable doing. This is my plan, going after my goals and my dreams based on my definitions and my uniqueness. It's my work. It requires you to slow down to do that. But then once it's all built, then you can go fast. I had an image as I was thinking about this today. I know this, I'm not going to be able to deliver this without making me laugh. And it's going to, this is going to make me such a bad person right now. But let's do it. I just had this image of like watching a baby learn to walk, right? If you, I'm sorry, I pre-apologize because I'm not going to be able to say this without laughing. But I'm not like laughing at what I'm about to say, but I'm laughing at the fact that I'm saying it. But if you pushed the baby just to try to get him to learn a little faster or how to walk a little faster, just push the baby. The baby actually won't learn to walk faster. The baby will just get injured. Your baby business is the same exact thing. So what a lot of people are doing is not just pushing the baby, but shoving the baby. And that's why most if you're the praying type, just pray for me. But probably pray for my family, my wife more than me, the people that need to deal with me. That's why most people in the coaching industry have a lot more injuries than leg muscles built, right? There's a lot more emotional injuries, financial injuries, energetic injuries, because metaphorically they've just been shoving the baby. I mean, some of them just been picking it up and throwing it. I know it's such an awful metaphor, and I apologize for my essence, but also because it's actually an awful metaphor, I want it to be a really powerful one for you. Because nobody would actually shove a baby. Because they know there's a process and they know that, and not every and no baby learns to walk the same way either. They all do it differently. They all take different amounts of time. They start at different times. There's different resilience. Like every individual human baby learns to walk uniquely. Of course, there are elements that are the same. There are milestones, yes, but every individual human baby learns to walk differently. And I want you to protect your individuality with sacredness. Just like you would never push a baby learning to walk, don't let anybody push your baby business when you're learning to build. And then once you learn to walk, once you understand the balance, once you get all that stuff, then you can walk a little faster. Eventually you can trot. Eventually you can run. Eventually you can sprint. But you'll never do it by pushing the baby. The fourth thing here is that once you have a target, I already kind of alluded to this a little bit, but you got to be specific here. Once you have a target, you don't need a blueprint to get there that works for everybody. You need a U-print to get there. You need something that is specific to you and only you. Your overall recipe needs to be only yours. Now, there are some ingredients that you might share with other people because there are basic concepts out there. And if you want to be on Facebook, there are certain things to follow and, stuff like that. But your details have to be personalized. I think the only way to follow a general recipe and succeed is to sell general stuff. That's it. Like if you want to succeed with a McDonald's franchise, you can do that because you do the things that work for McDonald's. And I don't know this for sure. I've never been in the franchise world really, but if you were to buy a Subway franchise and operate it like a McDonald's franchise, you'd probably fail. Because there are different rules for Subway than McDonald's. So even if you're in the same ballpark as somebody else, your recipe needs to be 100% unique based on all of your individual variables. Time, your energy, your desire, what you're afraid of, what drives you, who you want to support, who you want to help, who your seeker is. What is it that lights you up? Where do you want to meet them on your journey? Where can you be fully embodied in your certainty and conviction? There's so many individual variables that need to be taken into account for your recipe. If you don't take those into account, you either cannot succeed or cannot be fulfilled with your success. You just can't. I think there's only one way for you to be fulfilled and successful, and that's your recipe. And I'm going to end you with this and then tell you about this webinar. If the recipe already existed before you showed up, it cannot be your recipe. How can it? How can a recipe work when the most important ingredient wasn't taken into account when the recipe was created? And you are the most important ingredient. So the webinar that I'm going to do on Thursday is Thursday, December 12th, is going to take this concept of how to make an additional $40,000 or more. There's a lot of flexibility in all this, but I want to break down with details, with specifics, with strategies, how to do this for you in your life, in your world, with your unique variables, all that stuff. I want to break all that down for you individually to make full-time or more income, impact, fulfillment, all the things that you want. you can go to coachshansmith.com/40K-in-2025. It's on the page right now, or on the video right now. That is the webinar. Go, it's a free training, register for it. If you can't make the time, we'll send you a replay, but make the time to do it live. If at all possible, show up live. You can ask questions live, and we can incorporate as much as we can, whatever is appropriate and relevant in that moment. If you're live, you're just going to get more live with the live energy. So show up live if at all you possibly can, and we'll send you a replay so you can watch it again multiple times. But you have to consume training that is going to build you as a person, you as the product, you as the driver, you as the entrepreneur. All of that stuff. Hey, if something's not building you, I told this to a client the other day. She asked me, how do you make decisions about the things that are important to you? Like the programs you should buy, the coaches you should hire, whatever. I said that the lens that I now look through, and the lens that I think everybody should look through, is if this program isn't building you as the most important asset, it can only work temporarily, or it can only work shallowly. The programs have to build you. If you agree with me that you are the most important asset, you are the most important ingredient, the programs have to build the most important ingredient. If it doesn't, then at some point in time, that's going to have to get done. And almost everything that you do before that piece gets done is wasted time. Because once you build you, you might change all the other stuff that you did, the strategies, the platforms, the branding, the wording. You might have to change all that stuff once the most important ingredient gets realized and actualized. So that's my take for all of you. And speaking of that, I'm not going to do like much time on this with all the details, but we do have a much deeper, much bigger program that we're running in 2025. It's going to be a live group program. It's called eSchool for Coaches in 2025. You can go to the information page, register page. If you have any questions, you can let us know. It is coachshansmith.com/eSchool2025. It is a much deeper program in helping you reclaim your entrepreneurial identity, help you reintegrate your entrepreneurial creativity, and ultimately help you create entrepreneurial strategy. All of those three things have to come together for you to do something really significant, to make it fulfilling, to make it your own. You have to become an entrepreneur. At the center of your business, there must be an entrepreneur. And most people are not entrepreneurial in their identity, creativity, or strategy. That's why they keep following all these other game plans that never work. Because without the collision of those three things, you'll sabotage literally everything. Once those three things collide and come together and start work together, then you can make almost anything succeed. That's the shift. So check that out if you want to check it out. But for those of you that want to dive deeper with the webinar, go to coachshansmith.com/40K in 2025 with hyphens in between, before and after in. Let me know what landed for you. Let me know what questions you have. I appreciate you all. And let's really do something special in 2025 for yourself, for your business, but also for the society that we live in and the people that you individually want to help. With that, hope to see you on the webinar. Take care, everyone.